Hello, my name is Holly Fernandez, and today I will be giving a presentation on my final research project. The topic I have selected analyzes how society views stay-at-home mothers and working mothers and whether there is any impact on the children. This topic has a special place in my heart because less than 2 years ago I made the decision to stay home with my son. This paper will determine whether there are any differences in children who are raised by stay-at-home moms or those raised by working mothers. It will research how society feels about both sets of mothers. Does society discriminate against working mothers who require flexible work schedules? It will also compare demographics from each set and determine whether that makes a difference on the impact of the children. This research is important because it investigates the way society views women. Society puts a lot of pressure on them and how they view motherhood. If a woman works and has a career, then they must not care about their children. What are the roles of women in today's society? Do men still have an advantage over in regards to parenthood? Is there a double standard? If a woman stays home and chooses to raise a family, does she have hopes or dreams of her own? This topic is also important because hopefully it will clear the air between women who make both choices. As a parent, you are constantly being judged for everything you do, and some of the hardest critiques are from other mothers. Some obstacles I faced when writing this paper were keeping my own personal bias at a low. It was easy to form opinions based on my own experiences. I tried my hardest to start this research with a blank slate and keep an open mind during the writing process. Also, although I have noticed that finding research is plentiful, not all of it is exactly accurate. A lot of the articles I found were opinionated based on the author's own perspective. While this can provide good insight for specific examples, it did not persuade my paper one way or the other. Many stay-at-home mothers long for interaction outside the house to feel meaning from employment and to contribute to their families financially. Many working mothers often believe that they are missing their children grow up and long to not feel the pressures from the grind of work. What is to say which role is more important? Is one superior over the other? Ultimately, there is not a defense one way that is right or wrong, but instead the lines are blurred as to what works best for each family. According to the Census Bureau, over 60% of women ages 16 to 50 who gave birth within the last 12 months were in the labor force. The percentage of moms who stayed home rose 3 points from 2008 to 2012. Reasons for staying home included the recession and weighing the cost of childcare with the actual income earned. In the late 1960s, the percentage of mothers who stayed home was at 49%. However, by the year 2000, the rate had dropped to 23%. It was expected that this trend would continue to decline. However, the rate has slowly climbed within the last 15 years. Many highly educated women from upper income families have chosen to stay home, but this is not the case for all. Actually, about only 5% of moms who stay home have a master's degree or higher. A recent Pew study concludes that one-third of stay-at-home moms were not born in the U.S. and half of them are not white. Almost half of stay-at-home mothers have a high school diploma or less. 20% are single moms and 7% have husbands who are unemployed in the 12 months prior to 2012. More than one-third of them live in poverty. In case the math here is unclear, that means their kids live in poverty too. Since the 1970s, the percentage of stay-at-home moms in poverty has doubled. Women are defined by whether they choose a career or choose to be a mom. Typically, they say that they cannot have it all. You cannot have a successful career and be a great involved parent. Women are referred to as either staying home or working, but not usually both. During an interview with Facebook's COO Sheryl Sandberg in 2010, she made it evident that no one can have it all. The interview discusses the struggles Sandberg faces of balancing her family life and career. Since her interview, Sandberg has become a centerpiece of equality and helps advocates for issues such as women to men pay ratio. During her interview, she mentions the tension between working moms and stay-at-home moms and urged for this to stop. In this slide, I have pulled two very common images from the internet. You've probably seen something very similar floating around social media. I wanted to take a moment to show you this because it highlights some of the many misconceptions shared amongst working and stay-at-home moms. In my next series of slides, I am going to discuss whether there is any impact on children of stay-at-home moms and of working moms. I will also be discussing other factors that play in a difference of the outcomes of children. According to research, there is not a significant improvement in the level of care for children of stay-at-home and working mothers. Although by these statistics, stay-at-home moms spend more hours and time per week on childcare, working mothers are less likely to be in poverty and can afford to give their children other compensations. Therefore, this information presents an issue where, unless these lower income families start investing more time into their children, then there is really not much of a difference on the child between either lifestyle. Although when comparing the outcome of children from working and non-working mothers, the cognitive outcome is unclear, there are other factors on the effects of maternal employment. For example, daughters from working mother homes have higher academic achievement and more success with their careers. They are also more apt to seek out non-traditional gender career choices. However, sons of working mothers displayed lower academic performance and IQ scores than sons of stay-at-home mothers. Some social outcomes were discovered that daughters of working mothers tended to be more independent, but the results for sons varied. The mother's employment had an effect on the family dynamic as well. Family dynamics for sons with employed mothers was often strained, especially in their relationship with their father. This often had to do with a power struggle between both of the employed parents. In middle-class families, the sons with working mothers tended to act out more in school than sons of stay-at-home mothers. Another outcome is that both sons and daughters from homes with employed mothers displayed less mainstream gender role beliefs. The father's role and participation within the family also played a significant part of the dynamic. When there is more participation from both parents in childcare, then there is also an increase in academic performance for both boys and girls. Another component affecting children of working and stay-at-home mothers is the study of maternal versus non-maternal care. Working mothers spend less time with their young children, but tend to compensate for missed time by direct interaction with their children. Stay-at-home mothers spend more time with their kids, but not all of their time is direct interaction. Children who are in full-time daycare usually learn more things, but are often more assertive with their friends. Although cognitive development is usually higher in children who are in childcare, this is not always the case. Often, it depends on the income level of the family and the level of non-maternal care the child receives. In dual-income upper-class families, the children are most likely attending a better daycare with more qualified teachers. However, in lower-class dual-income families, many children are in state-approved daycare and there is a definite difference in the level of care. In my conclusion, I learned that there are no clear ways that society views stay-at-home mothers and those at work, or at least not in my opinion. There does seem to be a significant difference in the children of working mothers and the children. There does not seem to be a significant difference in the children of working mothers and the children of stay-at-home mothers. Although there are small differences between children and family dynamics, such as the levels of independence, attachment, financial circumstances, distribution of work within the household, but these differences do not really affect the children negatively or positively. Every mother, every child, every family is different and unique. What works for one family might not be right for another. Needs are different in every situation. As long as the family is happy and the best interest is in the child, then everything else will work itself out. Again, I'm Holly Fernandez, and I wanted to thank you for taking the time to hear my presentation on this paper.